All right.
It's a different kind of tea.
Yes, it's well. Maybe tea is the breed that just doesn't work well with me in keyboards. I don't know. Something apparently was wrong, but we're back with the Omni Knight, so we still haven't seen as much success. If anyone's going to win with it, Lennon is one of the supports that can play these heroes at such a stellar rate. And I've always been harping that it feels like when we've seen the Omni Knight, they haven't paired it with as strong of like a Heavenly Grace hero, and Sven is arguably one of the better ones.
He is, but I'm kind of confused. Like, I could see, I'm sure they would have picked an Oracle if they had the option to. But Enchantress was still in the pool, and that's pretty damn good against the Darkseer. So I'm a little surprised that they didn't opt to pick that one up. Maybe just needing a little bit more team fight as opposed to lane domination, and I guess a little bit of lane shove with the enchant creep. But yeah, it feels like there is an opportunity that perhaps has gone begging to make sure that the Darkseer just doesn't have a lane at all.
And he's then I really want to see them amplify the Darkseer's factor with the melee position 1. I'm just trying to think of what the better ones are left available to deal with the Storm, because you need some. Well, they've got 18th and 24th, so honestly, they can either go for their position 5 here, or they can go for their 1. So
Slark
looks pretty good. Morphling, huh?
I mean, it's a way, like, ticks a very similar box to the Slark for mine, in that you want to be on the backline and force out a non-optimal use of, for example, the Blinding Light or the Guardian Angel. So Morphling is very quickly able to burst down, and I suppose that perhaps there's a little bit more of that mixed damage types. You know, you can go very right-click heavy, you can go into the E-Blade shotgun style of build, but you're not quite so able to lock down the Storm Spirit. So there's a lot of faith being put into all of these different heroes on RNG's side, like most notably the Nyx Assassin. Like, if he doesn't catch the Storm Spirit, I can't see anyone really doing so.
Wow, they think the Darkseer's a 4. Huh. They
10 seconds
they do definitely need a way to start. I mean, Void's pretty much their only way at the moment. Then Darkseer, if he has a really good game, then sure, Darkseer with Blink, he can fulfill the weaknesses that they are currently lacking in their draft with his itemization.
What about a Doom?
For RNG?
Yeah. It's pretty decent.
I do as well. I don't favor Doom as much against like healing supports, because you can mitigate a lot of the damage through it, but quite often you're never going to get you will never doom a Heavenly Grace target. Like, it's just way too hard to have that timing, so the status resistance really never comes into play. How do you think they would play the Doom then? Are you saying as a 3?
Turn to ban.
Yeah, I would play it as a 3 with a Darkseer pairing, who, you know, obviously is buffing up his damage, but also providing him with that surge, so you can get the Blink initiation onto the Storm Spirit, let the Nyx Assassin and the Morphling deal a bit more with the Omni Knight and the Keeper of the Light, and then just split up the team fight in that way, leave the Sven till last. Because it does feel like one of these, it feels like an SMG style of draft, doesn't it? Where you've got like something that's a healing support to protect a Sven that's just going to full on carry the game, and if you just ignore the Sven and deal with all the rest of the stuff that's buffing him up, I feel like you're going to have a pretty good time.
If Centaur is ever going to be picked, definitely. I know, but I really like the lane versus Morphling early on. Like, you got a good damage advantage. Huh.
It's okay.
Well, it gives them... Yeah, I definitely don't hate it, because the thing against Morphling, you want an instant stun and the Void Spirit as well. So we don't see a lot of the DK anymore, but that Dragon Tail will provide you a way to jump these elusive heroes. And now, looking for the 24th pick on RNG, we'll see how their flex comes into play.
I mean, it does mean that you can really have this 4-man roaming combo, right? As every single time the Elder Dragon form is off cooldown, DK, Omni, Keeper of the Light, and Storm Spirit just group up. You toss the Heavenly Grace. Please be a position 3.
That's a dope pick. It's a more... You put it in the Morphling lane. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. Fly by Darkseer. That is an incredible pick. My god, that looks so good. Aster, don't kill off the tombstone. You now have a melee hero to put in front of the Morphling, which is exactly what you want to do. Just enable his early levels, which is his weakest stage. You're up against a very tanky position 3 that cannot trade at all versus the Undying Decay. Like, this is... And you can't swap the lanes on Aster. You can't go aggro with a Sven Omni Coddle. That's 2 strength versus the Undying, and Undying thrives in tri-lanes. This last pick is... Whew,
Pretty good.
I'm a big fan.
I still want it to be a core, though. Give me the core Undying. Come on, baby. I still feel like they've got a good amount of, like, once it gets out of the laning stage, this roaming combination of Asters are going to provide a lot of space for Monet to farm, because, I mean, they're going to have to be careful, of course, with their vision, and you can't smoke into, for example, RNG's heroes when they're off the map. You need to make sure that you know where RNG's heroes are and then make that aggressive play, because the last thing that you want is this pretty high damage lineup to be able to get it on the back lines onto your Sven before he's got those key survivability items.
Who are you wanting to be the ones roaming around for Team Aster? Like, who in particular are you keeping your eyes on early?
All of them except the Sven. Yeah. As soon as that Elder Dragon form's available, right? Because you just toss the Heavenly Grace onto the DK. He's already very tanky with the Dragon's Blood. The Elder Dragon form is able to siege towers, and then again, you've still got the Keeper of the Light combo together with the Storm Spirit that are just able to consistently take team fights. So you just position yourself behind the Dragon Knight and allow the Storm Spirit to be the one that goes in deep, because they are still lacking in stuns, right? Like, Nyx Assassin needs to be perfect with his positioning. So a lot of this game is on Felix Chaubar. You picked it in the first phase. It's clearly a high priority for them. So let's see if he's able to pull it off.
Nyx has been that X Factor hero through 7.29. Unfortunately for him, we're in a different patch, a different world, it feels like. Not a lot of teams are putting priority on this little bug man, and we'll see if RNG, if they've got the feeling with it, or if they don't, as, well, Red Panda maybe can help T-Stones, and he's forced to level up to Simulate, which is not really what you want as the level 1.
It's not terrible. I mean, you can just push waves out quite quickly with a Dissimulate. They're going to be able to dodge that second Illuminate, so nicely done there. Red Panda, he's happy to just be in this position to get multiple decays off, only hitting the 1 that time. But, yeah, he's lacking a little bit on the regen, though. They've got to make sure that they get at least 2 of these runes picked up, because he's only got the boots and the tangos right now.
Be fearless.
Just got the faster right clicks in the west. Looks like Felix does, and no shenanigans coming through with this laning setup as well. So did you say team that you were favoring as well? Sorry, I cannot remember. How are we feeling?
I didn't yet, no. It's just going to come down to so much execution, right? Like, both teams have periods in this game where they're going to be ridiculously strong. I can't see how they're going to be able to stop the 4-man push that's coming through from Aster. But I also feel like the Morphling Darkseer is better in the late game, especially against a high right-click damage hero like a Sven. And Undying in the position 5 role, where he's not going to be accelerating in farm as much of these core ones that I still want to see, will fall off. You know, the right-click damage from the Flesh Golem is nice, but I don't think it's going to be enough to make him remain relevant later on into the game.
One thing I've really enjoyed throughout our time in the group stages is the fact that it really feels like 90% of the games we've casted has been very, very even draft-wise. Like, there has not been a team that I'd say is incredibly outwon the draft, and I feel like, especially with these high-level teams, we see it at a more consistent rate. Like, maybe, you know, the Magmas or the Aster Aries, they might have a couple more common games where the drafts aren't looking bulletproof, but for RNG and Aster, like, game 1 is already showing what we've kind of seen the trend to be so far, and I really anticipate that game 2 and potentially game 3 will be the same as well.
And exactly what's happening with Red Panda is kind of what we were expecting, right? He's been able to stay out of the lane, stay bullying Borax. He's gotten close to a kill. It's cost him all of his regen, though, but as a result, God King has been able to pick up level 3. So he's having just a fine time as these pulls as well start to happen for Red Panda.
This one was always
A lot of battle in these lanes. Storm falling low. Top lanes use a lot of their resources. And you were just speaking about the Red Panda Cotton matchup. I'm, again, incredibly surprised that somehow this Keeper of the Light, like his laning stage is... he's out harassing the Undying. I mean, Red Panda, like you said, didn't bring as many resources, so was relying on the bounties, and him going boots first. Do you like this instead of kind of maybe some stats or some mana regen, health regen to really set his mark in this lane and help God King?
I mean, I think his main priority was making sure that God King gets experience in the lane, right? So he just wants to stay as far away from him as possible. And if you don't have the boots against the Keeper of the Light, hell, even with the boots, you've only got 15 movement speed on the Keeper. Lane, they're making a little bit of an aggressive play here onto White Album. I'm not sure about that TP, though. He TP's in after the bottle gets delivered, but I guess he's just trying to build up some stacks, maybe take away the bounty. His Borax will be able to deny it off from him.
Finders, keepers.
But yeah, like if you didn't have those boots, you were just going to get kited around constantly and there was nothing you could do about it. So I feel like he's done his job. Did force him back. It would have been even better if he was able to get the bottle refill onto D-Stones. As, well, with Borax in the region, even just gives a cheeky chakra magic over to White Album, who again, despite first pick Storm overall in the draft, is having a very comfortable time.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's just... The amount of times that we've seen Storm Spirit first picked is just a stupid amount, as D-Stones is getting bodied. It's not an easy matchup at all, and you're really seeing why. Like, he's just eaten through all these bottle charges. Luckily enough, I mean, no one's sneaked through and snatched and grabbed his bounty rune, so at least he'll have that and potentially a water to play with, but...
there's no water runes.
Yeah, never mind, White Album completely nullifying out his regen.
And even Borax, like he senses that I don't even know if he knows that camp was stacked actually, but he landed an Illuminate into it, the one to the right of the tier 1 Radiant Tower. So
this might be our first play top actually. Lenham with 2 points up of the Iron Shell, so Flyby and Felix able to chase him down, and you know, again, a combo that we've seen through a ridiculous amount in the past couple of months, but the Nyx Assassin never feels like a strong laner unless you pair him with the Darkseer, who can heavily enable him, and you know, we're seeing why so far.
Going to become even harder for the Omni Knight as well, because now you've got the boots of speed on the Nyx Assassin. You're just constantly wanting to be chasing down this this Omni and preventing him from putting this lane into a good state of equilibrium.
Flyby? Oh no. Just a little bit too slow there to catch up to the courier, but...
He's fine to be doing this, though. I thought maybe Lana might even have tried to body block his own lane. Sorry, his own small camp, just so that Flyby wasn't able to take both.
Oh. The good old deniers. So, I will say that XXS is getting a lot more out of this lane than I was expecting, as he just one-hits the courier, the classic. That's very big considering God King solo, and he has no regen now for this lane.
Only a minute 20, so I don't think Aster are in a position just yet to be able to go for kills. By the time he has it, he'll probably be picked up onto that level 6 mark, but I think he'll at least have the Morbid Mask when they're trying to mount that first push. But this big creep wave certainly helps XXS. He's not having to contest anything at all.
It's really interesting what's occurred down at this bottom lane. Like you were highlighting earlier that Red Panda was putting a lot of emphasis on giving as much experience as possible to the Morphling. And now Red Panda through kind of the first 3 minutes was just constantly chasing the Coddle, maybe trying to soak up any experience he got from the jungle camps with the Illuminate, and maybe trying to be a nuisance and stop him from, you know, stacking up the jungle. And now it's Undying. He's just playing a little bit more for the catch-up of the Morphling and potentially the Void Spirit. As Lenham, again, will fall in front of the Roche Pit. D-Stones getting the assist there, but it's actually Felix that will answer up to the second kill of the game.
Most importantly, though, like, sure, he gives up his life, but he doesn't allow the Arcane Rune to fall into D-Stone's hands, which I feel like they definitely want to have for any kind of defense that might be mounted shortly. Borax, he's here. He's channeling in the Illuminate onto God King, or they were going for the Dragon Tail stun into that one just to see if they could catch him while he was still Agimorphed.
it does feel scary. It has to, honestly, for the opposition when you see Monet on a farming hero like this. Would you say that so far you've been probably most impressed with Monet's position 1 and farming patterns out of every other position 1 we've seen so far through the groups?
Monet's definitely up there. I would also put Fly up there on a couple of his heroes, notably the Morphling, just with how much he's able to get out of the lane, even if it's not a super advantageous one.
Yeah.
And, well, there we go. There's the first Elder Dragon form popped on the bottom side. You can see Keeper of the Light standing behind them so far. And I'm just trying to soak up a little bit of experience. And White Album not joining just yet. But, you know, he's slowly going to make his way down towards the bottom side. You can see he wants to get there quickly.
They're going to scout him
No
out, though.
Tombstone available.
And it looks like God King, as soon as they see the storm, he's had enough of the lane. So Morbid Mask and Possessed Mask as well. He will easily be able to keep his sustain throughout the jungle. But this, more than likely, without the defense, is going to be a free tower here for Aster.
Yeah, and again, there's nothing that that RNG can do about it, right? Darkseer does nothing. The Void Spirit does minimal. Undying, nothing. Nyx, nothing for any kind of, like, all-in push. They're kind of setting up to try and get them on the retreat, though, it seems, when that Elder Dragon form isn't as much of a factor. Let's see if they're able to do it with the use of that Invis Rune coming through from RNG.
I mean, how do you catch White Album, though? Oh, wow, what a remnant. D-Stones. Drags back XXS, who's pretty beefy, which is allowing White Album to deal with Flyby in the backline with all the space the Storm Spirit's got him, but it has cost him a decent amount of his mana, but the one charges back up to a respectable amount, so again, he's going to go in with the zip. It's a massive amount of damage with the Illuminate, and even Monet, he's looking to get in all the action at the moment in the bottom lane. God's Strength pop, but just lacking the control at the moment, so a 2-for-1 in the end. Aster, they do get the tier 1 tower, but losing the Storm.
I think they're generally okay with it. Like, the tower's the main priority for them being picked up there, and then the question mark just being dropped.
Why is there a question mark? What am I missing?
I don't know.
Wait, D-Stones is going Midas?
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna say anything until I see him commit for it. Cause they do it often.
Maybe once he sees it, they'll drop the counter question mark, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Felix can turn with the Impale, and now White Album's burnt all his mana. And that's gonna be the second death in a row here for the Storm, and this is a hero that really relies on snowballing.
Not sure what he was thinking he was going to be able to accomplish up on the top side. Felix Chowbar, he was part of that previous engagement on the bottom side. He had all of his Magic Wand charges saved up, and you're pretty tanky natively as a Nyx, so they weren't able to get the cleanup kill onto him, and I feel like that's just one of the weaknesses of trying to make those plays without the DK supporting you. XXS has a lot of farm, though, holding on to 2,400 gold right now. Still hasn't made the decision about whether he's going to go into the pipe or the Blink Dagger. Actually switch it into the Silver Edge.
I'm still so incredibly surprised at how much farm DK got. I guess this is off the back of, like, the Coddle leaving the lane, then really doesn't... There's no reason for Red Panda to be there then, because you're not securing the lane for Morphling. Like, he can 1v1, but and then you're just soaking experience. So, well, I really thought that lane was going to go a lot worse for XXS, but the fact that he's 30 net worth is...
He didn't soak that much, though. He was level 1 for the longest time.
White
Album's a little low on mana again.
They're trying to defend the tower with only 2 heroes.
Okay. Well, it's the different 4 heroes than what I was expecting, but it's still just rallying around this DK on the cooldown every single time of this Elder Dragon form. And again, this is just with the wand and the treads. Like, he has no item after that, wanting the Shadow Blade to be as surprising as possible. I'm sure that the main target they're looking for is this Morphling, who really is the only one that's had a very good start to the game for RNG. I guess you can call the DK as well, but yeah, Morphling's the one that's gonna consider you having a very nice transition into the mid game.
The only issue for God King is that Aster have already preemptively place these observer wards around the top side of the map. So they got one at the triangle, one further up to the northern side that's near a beautiful choke point by that secret shop. So they will have full tabs on where God King is looking to have his farming patterns to. And now with the Shadow Blade picked up as well, Aster actually on point with the scan. So maybe they'll pop this on the high ground and look to take a fight as these stones wanting to jump Lennon, but he's unable to get the Heavenly Grace off thanks to his positioning further on the back line. It's an even better tombstone. As to how long do you want to stick around here with even Darkseid getting involved as well? All the illusions starting to stack up. He's able to dodge out the Dragon Tail, and the Undying just getting ripped apart from XXS, and we're not even done just yet as White Album can sweep on forward as well and get a secondary kill for the side of Aster.
We've seen some fantastic reaction times from our supports all day today, and Lanham again is the one that's going to be able to, well, they get the cleanup kill onto Borax, but just instantly using the Heavenly Grace, allowing himself to survive for much longer than he had any right to, considering he was against a 3-man smoke coming through, backed up by the Stormhammer from the Sven. Carapace wasn't used in time, unfortunately, by Felix Chauba, and yeah, that ended up being enough to turn the team fight around despite a nice wall of replica.
Dire's bottom tower is under
God
attack.
King.
It was he one-hit the Undying, by the way. Not from 100, it was like 40% on the Undying, but that Silver Edge with the reveal of the extra burst damage coming through from the Shadow Blade was enough to take him out.
And what was honestly a decent position for them though. Like Undying, sorry, Tombstone on a high gun and a wall in a choke point like that, you oftentimes would back yourself to win a fight. But at the moment, Aster just continued to surmount this net worth lead. I mean, it's growing to 4,000 at the moment. They just completed an Orchid on a Storm. I'm pretty sure Coddle's closing on his own Orchid as well. So there will be a lot of control, which they are currently lacking, which is a beautiful thing on how you can itemize in that regard to help kill off a pesky hero like the Morph.
I mean, they placed down the Tombstone on that high ground, right, towards the start of that fight, but there wasn't any sentry placed, I don't think. So the DK was just allowed to walk on in and do whatever the hell he wanted. We see another 3-man smoke coming through here from the Aster team. Of course, combo together with the Shadow Blade means that XXS doesn't need to maneuver his way over every single time. I'm sure he'll look to Shadow Blade up and join the rest of his team when they're ready.
Red Panda. They've been able to find the Nyx Assassin. That's a beautiful person to bring down. A lot of the control at the moment here from RNG. It looks like White Album barely using any mana to get the kill, and he's still got enough to zip on over, and a little bit of icing on the cake as well, killing off the Tombstone. Man, this Coddle with Storm Spirit pairing, you have a stupid amount of mana to play with. I mean, he did have an Arcane Rune, so it's a bit hard to kind of get the feel of how much he really would have wasted in that fight, but Coddle just gives you so much extra potential.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, every single, what is it?
Radiant's top tower
50
is
seconds
under
or so?
attack.
No, longer than that. Like, you only have about a 50-second downtime is what I'm saying. And every single other time than that, Elder Dragon form is available to be used. Now even more often, honestly, considering you've got the Shadow Blade, you can perhaps go for a little bit more gank potential, but 50 seconds is not a lot of time to make these plays happen.
It's not indeed, and again, Dire, their observer was consistently keeping tabs of RNG's positioning, and they might look to continue with the fight here with Monet looking to reveal his BKB in a
under this, would
big
they?
way.
Oh, yes, they will. They smoke right underneath an observer ward. They place the sentry after the fact, and then they're like, well, crap.
And that was 500 before Aghanim's on flyby, which is by far your biggest timing to date here. So a bit interesting on that timer there from RNG.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, it was that thing, right? That was the 50-second window that they had. So they were maybe thinking, well, we got to do something while we can. But after that was revealed, of course, they're just like, look, let's just sit back, get our next item, and hopefully we can look to fight against them. Because you know where they're going to come. But Flyby can't be there. He just TP bottom.
Yeah, they're going to have to give over the Nyx Assassin and probably their tier 1 tower as well.
They got to go somewhere else. Like, they got Mantis Style, but that's not going to be enough. Seems like it. God Strength was popped.
They don't have any minus armor. This might take them a bit. I say that. Sven God Strength is a ridiculous amount of damage.
He's gone into that freaking Falcon Blade again on a support.
Dire are scanning.
At least it's not the
I hate
Lich
it
like
so much,
before.
man.
Roshan has fallen to the
Yeah, it's
Slightly
better?
better. Like, I feel like it's 5% better than a Lich Falcon Blade.
Is it? How often are you right-clicking in a team fight as a position 5 Omni Knight?
Oh, we're gonna see come into play here. Oh, bonk. Deacerns picking up the kill. This is just the Aghanims completed on Flyby, so a big spike for them in their items, and they might look for another pick-off as well, as finally Felix, they won't have the stun follow-up Deacerns, although along with Flyby can answer the call there to find the control, and even though they're going up against the Aegis advantage on Aster, still RNG looking to now put finally their stamp on this game 1.
They took that tower and got those 2 kills because he went Falcon Blade.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah.
Hey, at least
Too long left on the splash attack here, coming through from XXS. They're gonna try and make a play with the amount of time that they have
long
left.
zip in, White Album. They need to deal with the Tombstone to start. Now with the Sven getting controlled, Monet still doesn't have to pop the BKB on the first life. They need to target down Landham. It looks like RNG have recognized the importance of the Omni Knight. They'll finally be able to bring him down, but it gives enough time for the Sven to deal with the Tombstone. But the only issue is the Soul Rip is going to waste a lot of the space. So Monet even has to protect himself with the BKB. Godstrength popped as well, but White Album's in trouble. He committed with a zip, and he's going to end up falling. So the Aegis getting claimed over. Deacerns doesn't make the step down to the low ground. He can purge off the silence, but it looks like the rest of the team have sounded the retreat.
It's so annoying playing with this this Void Spirit when you've got, you know, the 1 Orchid to play against. Eventually you'll be like, alright, I got the Yule Scepter, I can survive against it. But 2, the Keeper of the Light also has 1 built up. It means that you're free to just use the Chakra Magic on the Storm Spirit instead. You've got that good amount of mana regeneration for yourself. You're not really all that concerned. And it just makes life absolute hell for something like the Void Spirit until he picks up a BKB. But again, that's not generally what you want. You want that Aghanim Scepter timing to sync up with your level 15.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Darks here, a little bit behind in that regard. Is at least on KDA wise having a solid performance, and I was also saying in the draft that I feel like there is a heavy commitment on the Void Spirit to have a good game, because otherwise, like, how do you start the fights if Darks here does not have a good laning stage? Because this is a hero with a lot of net worth, then you can do a ridiculous amount in the team fight, but that Blink Dagger isn't a first or second item. Quite often it's kind of the third here. So now that he's had at least enough time to complete the Aghanims, then he can go back for an item which can help out with their initiation.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, man, XXS, he is a fiend for holding on to these his gold for as long as possible. He's nearly finished up a full BKB, surprisingly enough. He doesn't have much time left on the ultimate, though.
Oh, the life is a support.
Dire's top
What do you say to the team there? Sorry, boys, tanked another one. We're good to go. Don't worry, I'm doing my job.
Easy game.
Easy. Wait, you can't lose Flyby too.
Oh no!
Dude, that's probably, imagine if he still dies as well. That is horrific past 30 seconds for Flyby if he dies.
Radiant's top tower.
I mean, you
My
can't control that. It's the damn Ion Shell doing it.
God.
I thought you weren't, like, you're supposed to not be able to do that. Like,
Danog,
neutral items can't...
Oh my god, they're good neutrals too.
But they're not meant to be able to drop when there's enemies nearby.
It's so bugged. It's so bugged. I swear it's still been like that for ages. Oh, that's rough. Like, look at, dude, Ring of Aquila and Quicksilver.
Radiant's top tower is under
well,
attack.
If the net worth graph wasn't enough, that couple of neutral items, tier 2 neutral items is that, they're going to make things even more difficult.
Well, nice illusion bait. Monet, he's actually opting for a very early Aghanim Shard here after the Silver's Edge is already completed. So, looking for their own Dispel, which they didn't draft for it to deal with the Darkseer, but now you can still itemize for it.
I mean, you can just even use it onto the Yule Scepter, right? Like,
Yep.
you might think you have a little bit of time to be able to break out if you somehow are able to avoid both Orchids, but I mean, if you just use the Storm Hammer, it is completely useless. You know, you can lock him down before he lands from the Yules.
Dire's top
Are you
tower is under attack.
on the boat that
Dire's structures
God
are
King can
fortified.
carry RNG to this victory here? As
No. It
Radiant's
feels.
bottom
White
tower
Album?
is under
Wait, they
feels
might
kinda
actually
rough.
kill him.
Radiant's
As long as they
bottom
force a
tower has
BKB.
fallen.
I feel like White Album, his positioning hasn't been perfect this game, but I feel like the pressure is going to be too much to deal with. And honestly, XXS as well. His farm is exceeding what I was expecting for him.
Yeah, without a doubt.
The D-Stone's Void Spirit in response to the first pick overall Storm just hasn't accomplished as much as I thought it might.
Well, God King with Satanic and Manta will be very difficult to kill. He's got a ridiculous amount of armor for the Sven right clicks, and now he has 2 purges for the silencers that Aster have. Looks like Borix is going to be the target to jump. And an instant
On
burst.
flyby as well.
Doesn't have a buyback to rejoin them. And instantly, there we go. God King Manta's off one of the Orchids. Doesn't have to worry about the secondary Monet. Can he get the BKB off? We'll be able to do so. Now they need to kite the Sven as Dying doesn't have that capability, but Flyby, he's still going to jump in on the high ground here. They get the Guardian Angel and Morphling. He's getting chunked down. Who cares about your armor when Monet is so
Dire's middle tower is under
farmed?
attack.
Wasn't able to get off the Satanic. That's the big difference there as XXS now. He's still got the Elder Dragon form,
My
so they can use that. They can push the wave out nicely with the splash attack. Monet just goes back to farm and the rich get richer.
Oh my god, Sven.
It was a beautiful blink vacuum wall as well by
was.
Flyby.
And speaking about Flyby, God Strength is about to expire. My lord. Man, I just keep seeing Sven late game do like a stupid amount of damage. Like I'm trying to, honestly, on paper, looking at this, like I know Morphling just died. That was his first death. They really will struggle to kill the Morphling if he gets like 4 items. My only issue with that is then Sven might have 6 items and he's gonna, and he can then itemize for maybe one form of control like Abyssal and maybe like a Daedalus. He's already got Silver's Edge, so maybe not. But those crits with God Strength, I don't think he cares about the armor.
No, and that fight could have gone better for RNG. I feel like Red Panda, him dying is kind of like, it happens.
They're gonna try again.
Find here.
1-8.
The smoke.
Well, there's the normal
The normal
punch.
punch.
Now before the BKB. Oh. They turn it back around. And then with the backline though, Undying once again is going to be the target to bring down from Aster White Albums. So he's got a decent amount to play with thanks to the help of the Keeper of the Light, but the XXS TP unsuccessful. And now they want more blood as well. Borax Chakra up in a couple seconds to give the mana for White Album to zip back to safety, but now we revealed the positioning of Borax, so D-Stone's continuing to pursue the pressure as he jumps around the triangle.
He was able to get the Carapace on. You were talking about that in the draft
Dire's
stage,
middle
right? Like
tower
what they
is
can
under
do to
attack.
deal with this Keeper of the Light. That Illuminate moves very slow, and provided you've got some good positioning, oh, so close to being able to catch out the Storm.
Dire's
They
middle
don't know that they don't have
tower has
buyback.
fallen.
Could have potentially been a push in here. Of course, it's always going to be difficult to high ground against a Storm, but maybe not so much with an Nyx Assassin, and you could even potentially lay down an Aether Remnant to try and catch him as he zips out.
Alright, this game is going to get very reliant on also Lenham's positioning as it goes on. You cannot give the Morphling the replicate of the Omni. Like, if you do not burst through God King and is able to get the Omni Knight to play around within these fights, they will get 10 times more difficult.
I just want you to tell me what this Falcon Blade does.
Lenham. Oh, he's going to show the survivability coming through with the Falcon Blade there, and now turning it back on the Darks here. Whew! Lenham, this big item. No, I still don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
Like, it buffs up the
Radiant
Fluffy
are
Hat HP by 75, right? So it does that. That's probably about it. I mean, it gives more mana regen, sure. I'm not sure it's worth the extra 675 gold that you need to spend on it. You know, just buy a second Fluffy Hat. You're an Omni Knight. You've got items spare.
Fear not heresy.
Walking up into
Radiant.
this. 2 supports.
Tombstone
It's
on the
a
high
low-
ground. They don't have a Darks here for another 15 seconds, and he really doesn't want to buy back with how close to the respawn that he is. Got to keep tabs on God King, though. Trying to protect the tombstone, but unable to do so successfully. And Aster, with the tomb dropped and the kill off, they're just going to look to reposition.
That was probably the first... I don't even want to call it a mistake that Flyby made, right? Because he just got caught out by a really quick reaction coming through from Aster. But every single other point of this game, he's just been on point, hitting acceptors, not hitting acceptors, hitting back walls with the Blink Dagger. Normal punch was the reason they were able to kill the Sven previously. It's kind of nutty.
Indeed, and we might see smoke up here from RNG. See how they can start this fight. They don't have very good vision right now. Has anyone got an observer? They do on Red Panda, who's leading the front. Monet again. This time is able to get the BKB, and the look to turn is the fault control there to try and deal with the Void Spirit. Got to keep tabs on the backline as well for Flyby. He's been such a key component for RNG's team fight. They're able to reset out of a big use of the BKBs on Aster, and the rating
Have the Elder Dragon form though. They're a little worried about fighting into the Tombstone as well. Its ability to control these, close-ish team fights is pretty significant as the Roche now respawns. So that's going to be the next big contest that happens for both sides, and Aster have the advantage. It's nighttime. They've got more ultimates. They've got the vision. What can they do with it?
Just don't want to leave their post on the high ground here. Choke point fight where we can see they have as much information as possible on how they can survey and get the correct jump. And RNG, it seems like they're aware of this. They're not going to dare to penetrate. I mean, they still kind of have to shove in, but this is a catapult wave.
Still looking to go into the Elder Dragon form is our DK, although that was one of the things that was pretty significantly nerfed in the recent patch. I think it was like halving the amount of magic resist that you get.
I think we saw it. I can't remember if it was Yang that played it, but we've seen the DK once in the off lane, and he went for it like a little bit later on after the, because we were often seeing like Blink BKB then Ags. I think we saw like Blink BKB Halberd then Agnums on the other DK that we saw.
Yeah, and this is Shadowblade Blink BKB Ags.
So just
that one extra item.
XXS.
They found Felix.
With the tombstone in the pit. Flyby again! What a combo! The AoE stance, it's just beautiful! Aster kill off at least the Nyx, but what's it cost them? A buyback on the Omni and the Coddle as my oh my!
Darkseer, I mean, not necessarily Darkseer in general, but just the way that he plays it is so insane in this. And Red Panda, really nice positioning of the Tombstone as well. Oh no.
God's Strength has only got about a quarter duration left. They'll find the Void Spirit in the backline, wide open. Another zip in, but again, they got the normal punch. Monet now without the God Strength. Gore King is stripped with the raid boss in the team fight here, but the Orchid's out with the instant Mantis and the Morphling's out with the man fight at the moment. The stun lock's just not there to lock him in. He's got the adaptive strike, and then we can waveform on forward as well. But they're lacking the detection, so how about they just turn back to deal with the storm, also lacking the stuns. But RNG have completely 360'd this game.
Able to come back into this, and it's not even on the back of the Morphling. Like we talk about, is he going to be the one to carry the game? No, it is Flyby is the one doing it. Perfect combinations, like you mentioned. Vac wall into the Nyx stun, into the silencers coming through. Has he got waveform attacks targets? Of course he does on the Morphling at this point. So he's just able to dish out so much damage in quick succession.
Stupendous.
And they gave the shot over to the Void Spirit as well. So extra to simulate range here for D-Stones, and also plus 200 damage.
Can you imagine how, like, you think these wombo combos are devastating. Eventually Void Spirit's going to hit up to level 25.
Ooh.
And you're going to have that dissimulate stun for 2.5 seconds.
Do you like that he's going Dagon actually real quick?
I mean, it's better than the Midas that he was going.
Without a doubt. Poor Alarm dying. Glimmer might give him enough time for RNG to come over and punish here as Storm. Got a BKB, has to force it, so D-Stone's recognizing, well, if we can't kill off the Storm Spirit, let's just kill off the Omni Knight for free, but they're still going to jump in forward again. White Album is using a lot of his mana, actually zipped into the 8th Remnant. Now White Album is completely dry. Borax is going to try and do his best as he can to refresh him up with the Chakra, but Gorkin can still chase on the backline, a waveform forward, but it's just the Morphling at the moment. He's still got the second life to play with. Monet trying to win the man fight at the moment. Flyby is coming on over. How with the Dark Seed? They've got to be careful if they group up. He's got the wall. He's got also the Dark Punch available. There's the Vac onto 2. Now Gorkin can stand his ground in man fight. He sidesteps the Morphling. He's going to look to target down XXS. He's still going to be careful about his attribute shift. Once again, the Linken's is popped. He's falling ever so low. He doesn't have a dispel at the moment. But luckily enough with the attribute shift and even Red Panda, the Orchid, not enough to tick him out afterwards.
Oh, man. This game is on a knife's edge. Just these little things slowly, maybe turning things around for RNG, but man, they still weren't able to kill the Sven when it was an all-out man fight. They killed him twice. And, well, look at what he's going next on Flyby. Going into the Refresher Orb. You thought one normal punch was enough to deal with. You thought one wall was enough to deal with. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Finders, keepers.
I've just been so impressed with Flyby through his team fight prowess. And then once he continues to find these items, levels as well, it's going to get even more difficult, at least for Aster. They have some of their big team fights starting to get picked up in the Will-O-Wisp.
This is the big difference, though. Lanham, now, he's also got his Blink Dagger. So previously, you had to be standing right behind the Storm Spirit, right behind the DK, right behind the Sven. Otherwise, they could get quickly burst down by these great combinations that RNG are getting together. But now, at least you could stand well back. He's holding onto the Ring of Aquila. Do they have... I feel like I saw a Psychic Headband drop, and well, Keeper of the Light's holding it onto it now. I'd much rather give that to the Omni.
Aster smoked up here, seeing who they can find. They don't have Red Panda at the moment on RNG, and
they
might run into D-Stones. Oh, that gem timing. No, he used the yours. They have the Purge off still, the Dissimulate range. They're targeting on the Nyx Assassin secondary, but again, Flyby. It's an even better Vac wall onto 3. They drop the Ignis straight on top of the wall. It allows Astra to get a little bit of time to reset, deal with the illusions, and force back RNG.
And no one dies.
That was a really cool use from Borax's Ignis. Like, as soon as you see the wall, you know RNG want to collapse around that area. But he just drops the ultimate. And now RNG have to, like, readjust on how you take that fight into it.
They're still keen to go again. They know that God Strength was used. They know the timings of it as well. Oh, White Album just able to get away in time. They don't have a gem, I don't believe. That's just the presence of mind.
Still somehow
some jungle control.
Somehow asked to have this net worth lead. 5,000 gold for them at the moment. Sven's still sitting on top, but we've been seeing the king of these past few fights is, I mean, do we even want to say the Morphling? Feels like the Dark series just been so on point.
Yeah, Flyby is easily the MVP this game so far.
And closing in on his refresher. Got the double perseverance, just needing that last recipe here for a key item. It's getting close to the level 20 as well, and meanwhile for the Morphling, very close to the level 25, so potentially the attribute shift while stunned. It feels like he needs that survivability.
Yeah, D-Stones, he's still kind of playing on instinct a little bit, you know. Sven's not super common picked up hero for the past few months. The Shard as well, not super common to pick up, but the amount of times that he's Yule Sceptered in response to a Sven Stormhammer flying at him is one too many for mine. And let's see if he's able to change that up. Maybe use the Astral Step instead.
Double damage.
Uh-oh. That's no good fighting to a Sven with a DD. Tell you what, that's definitely a fight you want to avoid here. Looks like they should be able to get out of dodge, although Monate is really pursuing on forward. Or maybe you don't have to worry about that now with the Purge.
This game could go either way. It's crazy.
Could be in for a long one. Very well could be. I mean, we're 36 minutes in. It's only a 3,000 net worth lead. What was sitting up at about 10k for Aster is being cut by over half.
It's getting to be one of those games where eventually it feels like most of these cores are going to want to buy a Silver Edge. Ironically, RNG, they haven't gotten any just yet, despite both the Storm Spirit and the DK and the Sven having pretty good abilities to be able to disable. Just one hitting creep waves is Monet, and he's nearly hit up onto his level 25 as well. So wonder what he's going to want to opt to with that, whether it's all into the burst damage through the God Strength, or if he's going to go for a little bit of extra stun duration now that the Will-O-Wisp is available. I mean, you've almost got Storm Spirit building into the Aghanims for himself as well, about 1,500 gold away.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
I feel like he goes, yeah, I was gonna say I feel like you go damage because you need to burst through the Morphling through the one stun lock. You've got enough there. If you can land that control, you need as much damage as humanly possible to kill him throughout the duration. Otherwise, if you don't, he's got Lincolns, he's got he's got Satanic and Manta. He will be able to reset after that.
That's actually an enormous item that just dropped for RNG. Witchbane, now available.
It's a long zip in. Wait, Morphling just TP'd out. They have to retreat from RNG, but the stun on D-Stones. They don't want to lose the gem. Someone has to die, right? Someone's got to die. What? Oh my god.
Undying, I'm going to need to see you get a Blink Dagger, because as soon as that Guardian Angel pops, blink in, use it on the ground, suddenly it's useless, and Morphling is still able to dish out a ton of damage.
So who were you saying you wanted to see the Witchbane on?
Anyone on RNG
Doesn't
that
matter.
just wants to be right in the middle of a team fight. So, it's going to be on the Undying. I don't hate it. I kind of like it on D-Stones, actually, but he's holding the Ceremonial Robe instead. Just because you're going to be able to hit multiple targets with your Astral Step, right? So you get that minus 4%, that 4% max mana as damage as well against a Storm Spirit.
Dire. Such emphasis on looking to control their vision around the high gun flyby. A jump in, another answer with the AoE stance, and Dire, they aren't all grouped up at the moment. So it looks like they just have to result in the casualty of Lenham. Oh, I say that, man, the Ignis is such a nuisance. We'll still end up dropping though. God King looking for a little bit more blood as well. For them though, Roshan is up. That's the objective fall back to now for RNG.
Now, 2 Wall of Replicas are a lot. What about 3? What if you're able to get that Refresher Shard as well? You know, you've already got a useless Null Talisman just sitting in your inventory right now, and, well, Aster, they realize how important it is to be able to contest against this. They've got the level 25 up on Monet. No smoke coming out? Are they out of smokes?
Dire are scanning.
Looks like it. They're gonna have to just run all the way back in. Scan coming inside the Roche Pit so they know it's not going to be actively taken right now. Still such a dangerous position, making sure to take back their outpost as well. Buyback status, who's got it? Sven's got it, and that's it on Aster's side. So, pretty scary prospect for them to fight into this Roche unless they've got a lot more information.
They showed D-Stones down bot. Okay, so Aster instantly going to try and face check the pit, just make sure no cheeky shenanigans are going on. But we see the importance. Got to get rid of the Omni Knight. Feels like the Darkseer as well, such a valuable target. But how can Aster... Do you feel like they can burst through Flyby to start the fight? He's got 2,800 health.
His positioning has been really good.
Yep.
Like, he's constantly right in the perfect position. He's got the BKB as well, so provided... Like, they've still got kind of slowish ways to initiate. Their vision's been good, so you're going to stop the Storm Zip. Storm Hammer.
Oh, Aster.
Stopped by BKB.
Again, a multi-silence with a vac wall as well. Flyby.
Wasn't perfect.
Team fight after team fight, at least finding these big walls. And now God King looking to reposition. The buyback on the Void Spirit. They've been able to sidestep out of the Ignis. But there's no extra follow-up at the moment as White Album. All his men has been burnt. And he's actually just going to go for a TP out. Felix, does he have to cancel just shy? They might just walk inside the Roche Pit though. As Monet
can
also
wait.
popped the God's Strength. This is a very heavy commitment from Aster as they need to continue to look to take the fight. As White Album is able to rejoin thanks to the Keeper Light. Now with the Agnes Vortex as well. Drags back
There
through.
it is.
Sets up for a beautiful vac wall once again though. It's 3
buybacks.
down. And now Monet yaws into the air. They've got the control. They'll drag him down to his demise.
The first back wall actually wasn't that good. Like, it was the first poor one that Flyby's hit the entire game. And sure, he gets the wall, but none of them actually connect into it with the vacuum. Second time around, though, that use of that refresher orb, catching him enough by surprise, Aster had to make that commitment happen because they didn't want to give away this Roche, give away, with the face check that they saw from the Sven, give another refresher charge over to the Darkseer. And yeah, they only had less than half duration left on the Elder Dragon form and the God Strength. So they felt, well, it's do or die right now. Unfortunately, it seems kind of a little bit more like die, but yeah, they've still got one more team fight in the midfields.
But without RNG have been executing these fights, are they just going to go for a GG push? I mean, once they see these buybacks aren't available, they can hit pretty goddamn fast with a Morphling.
There's nothing else they can
farmed.
take. Tier 2 towers still on the top and the bottom. Yeah,
They're going to go for it.
Through the barracks.
These Stones just want to try and make as much space. Screw that, actually. Even God King just wants to get the more kills. Put as many heroes in the graves as possible. The mental damage here from RNG. A kill off the Omni, back to the tier 4 towers as they have to call it. They know they stand no chance to defend the base as RNG. What a stellar game 1 performance.
Yeah, I mean, when you were asking me, is this Morphling going to be able to outcarry the Sven? And I was thinking, well, ironically enough, in a vacuum, probably not. You know, we saw the few times when Sven and Morphling were just right-clicking each other. Sven came out on top, but Flyby, what a performance from him. Just team fight after team fight, perfect position, never getting caught out before the engagement, and winning them the game. Clear MVP for mine.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been we've been able to maybe give the MVP to multiple people, so to say. We've had multiple candidates, I should say, but this game, Flyby, was, my God, with how we played on the Darkseer, just team fight after team fight after team fight. These clutch initiations enabling RNG to bring themselves back, which was a 10,000 deficit in this game. And keep in mind as well, this is against a team that are currently flawless. Aster are yet to drop a series. On their last series of the group stages, they go down the first game to a team that just started to out-execute them on another level. Like, this is a no-joke RNG team. You know, they...
You know what it was?
What was it?
It was that damn Falcon Blade. Get it out. Get it out of your mindset, Lano. Like, can you imagine? I mean, it could have been the difference super early on. You know, if he doesn't get picked off in a few of those earlier fights, even if he has, I don't know, a cloak so that you're able to survive a little bit of magic damage, then, you know, maybe they're able to snowball. Maybe they're able to use this Dragon Knight to its full effectiveness. XXS, he still played a very good game. Same thing with Monet and White Album, but yeah, Flyby just able to take the game by the scruff of its neck and pull it RNG's way, where wins are still very important for them. I feel like Aster have almost definitely secured themselves the upper bracket, but RNG still a ton to play for them. We'll see if they're able to back it up in game number 2.
Well, with that being said, we'll send it to a quick break, and when we come back, RNG versus Team Aster, game number 2.